I think I mentioned the biggest thing, and it's not particularly all that new, but it's more common. The claims arising out of the business practices in terms of, collecting, selling, using data, and like kind of the workflows that companies are using in that regard, particularly big companies, seeing lots of exposure that can trigger both cyber and tech E&O coverage. So if you're putting out a technology product or providing technology services that are somehow implicated in, alleged wrongful collection or wrongful use of data, seeing a lot more claims for those types of situations now that are really tricky. And on the tracking cases, I think we use that term very broadly, and it's important to keep in mind it's so much more than metapixel. Is so much more than that. The plaintiff's bar is very creative in coming up with lots of theories under different laws that have been in place sometimes for decades and decades. And all of this, by the way, this is a really important issue for me that I always like to highlight, is the impact that it has on the claims team and on the underwriting teams. If you look at the claims team, for so many years, and you know this better than I do, with that focus on these first party events, the breach and then the ransom event, it's a lot of burden on the on the claims team to deal with these incidents, to, for this particular insured in this particular part of the country, who's the best vendor, which is the best law firm for them, how much should all these things cost, what's covered, what's not covered. And then we have all these issues with BI and bringing in forensic accountants and figuring out what a BI claim is, and dealing with extra expense and regulatory issues, third-party liability. And now we're adding a whole different, type of situation on where with these tracking claims where there's a whole new set of vendors you have to bring in on the first-party side to see what the insured is doing on their web pages. Are they really collecting the data that the plaintiffs say they are? Things of that nature. And then on the liability side, these issues around, what's the value of these claims if they survive a motion to dismiss and you're in settlement talks? How should these claims be valued? Is there any correlation to, known values for certain types of data breach claims? Maybe not. We're seeing the same thing now with the vendor of vendor type of incidents where, the insured is sued because their vendor had like a move it incident, for example, and the lawsuit comes in against the insured, the policyholder, and it's all based around, boilerplate allegations that the insured's network wasn't secure, completely irrelevant, because what we're really talking about is, the insured's retention of somebody else. And, there's kind of the supervision and vetting of vendors versus, the insured suffering an incident themselves. And so the claims team now is they have to look at these types of issues and how do you value and defend against these types of claims. So these are kind of the new things we're seeing now that are super interesting, but are adding to the long list of issues that the cyber claims team and the cyber underwriters have to deal with.